World Juniors don't have all the rosters yet, but we have a couple that are relevant for us. Where should we start? Where do you want to go first? Is it?
I think most relevant to Wild fans. Shout out Brett Marshall, who has not made a single comment about the snubbing of one Wild prospect. The Canadian World Junior roster, which I think there's a lot of interesting snubs from. And again, this is just their preliminary rosters. More will get cut, and there are good players that were not included in that. And actually, maybe before we even get into the rosters themselves, I've got here, this is from Scott Wheeler, some names who were invited to Hockey Canada's summer meetings, but not selection camp. Owen Pickering of the Pittsburgh Penguins, Luca Cagnoni of the San Jose Sharks, Riley Heidt of the Minnesota Wild. We'll spend a good amount of time on that. Holy shit, how do you pronounce this one? It's Zimmer, but it's like, is it Cohen, Cohen, Koehn of the LA Kings, Colby Barlow of the Winnipeg Jets, Hunter Haight of the Minnesota Wild, David Goyette of the Seattle Kraken, Bryce McConnell Barker of the New York Rangers. How have we not talked about this name? That's a fun one to say. That's better than Francisco.
One of the absolute conundrums of that draft year was that guy.
Huh. Interesting. And Samuel Savoy, Chicago Blackhawks. Oh, actually, there's more names, but have not worked their way into selection camp. Oliver Bonk, Tanner Molendyke, Samuel St. Hilaire, Owen Allard, Denver Barkey. Interesting. Easton Cowan, Carson Rakoff. I don't know. So I think the most important ones to talk about here are, of course, the twins, Height and Haight. Can you explain this? Can you make it make sense?
One, yes. The other, no. Hunter Haight, I honestly, I didn't expect him to make the roster.
The preliminary roster?
Right. That's the thing. That's odd. So the thing, Team Canada always does this interesting. Usually the group they bring on the back end is like more interesting, but I wasn't totally shocked by the snub of Hunter Haight. Like he's played really well this year for Saginaw, but like not jumping off the, like having that major breakout. Again, he's been great. He's putting up a lot of points. He looks like he's scoring goals, he's making plays, he's doing everything you really want him to do, but it's not like, top player in that league, whatever. And I mean, you look at some of the guys that they're bringing, they've got a couple players who are a little bit older, who are like absolute studs. But there are a couple interesting ones that I'm just kind of sitting here like, really? Like that guy? But the Riley Height one, that is the one that I can't really figure out. And when I look at the group of players, or at least the group of forwards that they brought, or at least have in that prelim camp, we'll see who ends up making the team out of camp, whatever. But like, you look at someone like Vidicek, Fraser Bitten's great, but Hunter Haight, Riley Height, god damn it, it's going to happen a million times.
A lot.
Riley Height right now is leading the WHL in assists and points. Like, and he is every night just like, he shouldn't just be on this World Juniors team. He should be absolutely in the mix as like the top 6. So, and this is the year I look at it. I'm like, well, they kind of went for, they've got a couple guys where it's like, yeah, they're big. They play the two-way game where it's like, they're actually really trying to round out that roster. Where like, there's like, last year they brought like Caden Bankier made the team. Number one, he was going to be reliable as a fourth line guy. He's got some offense in there that they might be able to tap into if they really want to. But like, either way, he's going to play a reliable game. But they brought like 4 or 5 of those guys, at least just to camp. We'll see who ends up making the team. But it's such an interesting group where it feels like they did lean on that. It looks like they want to mix that in their lineup all around. Like there are a couple of guys that I just like I can't imagine not taking Riley Height, the guy that's leading the WHL in scoring. I mean, a couple of guys that I think are awesome and I love, and it's fun that they're like invited. We'll see if they end up making it, but like Jordan Dumais, who's like, I mean, I think he's at this point basically set every QMJHL record for points, almost right around there. Jaeger Furkes in the WHL, the Furkes Circus, one of my favorites in that draft. He's third in the WHL in scoring, undersized sniper. But
those never work out.
If I'm telling, like, if you want to offer me that or Riley Height at this tournament, I'm taking Riley Height. Riley Height can play center, he can play wing, he's a sniper, playmaker, he plays a good 2-way game. Like, I think he would have fit, and he plays with some like he plays nasty too. So yeah. I'm just like kind of fascinated by that snub in particular. That was the one that stood out, like not just for Minnesota, but just Team Canada in general. I was like, really, you're not bringing Riley Height? Because again, there's just a couple of guys that I'm like, even just camp, even if they don't make the team out of camp, I'm like, this kid, really?
But so does that make you think there's something more to it, that he wasn't even part of the preliminary roster? Like, you don't think it's something where their team is sick and trying to do something, and they're like, yeah, what if we just keep all of our players here when everyone else doesn't?
No, I don't think it's just. Again, like usually, like last year specifically, I remember Team Canada did this on the back end where like they brought their super high end guys that were legit, but then they brought in like the Nolan Allens of the world.
Height is the super high end player,
right? I'm telling you. So like they, I guess, picked like, geez, there's like a couple that I'm like, I can't fucking figure out how Height doesn't make this fucking team. But it just seemed like there's just more. Like I haven't seen Team Canada have this kind of a camp with this many of like the big physical 2-way guys, like for forwards. Like they always do this on the back end. They always try to sprinkle in a little bit of like that on the back end, but the forwards, it's been a while since I've seen them go for this.
Now, is this Judd Brackett's fault?
Yes, always, of course.
Okay.
I don't know, but it's just it's an interesting group of forwards for Team Canada. Like the guys that I look at, I'm like Ludwinski, Minton, Cowan, Furkes, Dumais, Allard, Vidicek. Great players, but Riley Height is sitting right there. And like without a doubt, should at the very least be making this team out of camp.
It makes me happy that you didn't list Braden Yeager.
He makes sense.
I know. That's why it makes me
happy. And he always, like for Team Canada, when he goes to those tournaments, like he shows out. Like he was a stud at the Holinka. Like he was so fucking good. Same with like, I'll be curious to see how Matthew Wood does. It's always fun watching like the college guys goes because it's such a different game. And Matthew Wood was real good for UConn last year too, and he's having another good year. But yeah, just a weird group of forwards. At least weird instead of like leaving out a kid like Riley Height.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. He's just going to extend that lead in WHL scoring. Like if Furkes, Geeky are both there, like in the meantime, he will be putting up a couple points.
Just a couple. All right. Any other like snubs you want to talk about, or any other surprises?
Oh my God, 1-0.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Also, it was funny. The Wild definitely lost a shot at one point. They went back down to 10, and now they're back up to 11.
Yeah.
But yes, a goal by Mr. Hoglander.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head what snubs. That is the one thing that sucked about like Fantilli signing was like him, Celebrini, like on the same team. It's so fun.
I mean,
Bedard was never going to go back.
He could go, couldn't he?
I don't think no.
Really? Because
I mean,
it's
in
happened
theory,
before.
I guess in theory he could. I would be
Like, you do
shocked.
understand why the once Chicago great now turned something in Montreal. Like, him playing World Juniors when he was with the Blackhawks was what led to the downfall, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think so. I would say the Columbus Blue Jackets look at that exact situation, be like, nope, don't even think about it.